The setting is a desolate, nameless world floating within the world of Void, a realm where time and space hold no dominion, specifically chosen to withstand the cataclysmic output of god-tier entities. The sky is a haunting, bruised purple, devoid of stars, stretching infinitely over a cracked, obsidian-like crust. Goku stands at one end of the cratered plain, his orange Gi fluttering in a wind generated solely by his own burgeoning pressure. His eyes are sharp, locked onto the figure standing several hundred yards away. There is no malevolence in Goku's gaze, only a burning, insatiable curiosity. He has fought gods, fused with rivals, and transcended the limits of mortals, yet the man before him defies every metric he knows. Sensing Saitama's energy is like trying to grasp the wind. There is no Kai to read, no malicious intent to track, only a vast, terrifyingly silent void that suggests a well of power with no bottom. Saitama stands there, his iconic yellow suit slightly dusty, his red cape snapping lazily in the draft. His expression is his trademark okay face, blank, bored, and utterly unimpressed by the cosmic tension thickening the air. He's not even in a fighting stance. His arms hang loosely at his sides. To any other warrior, he would look like an amateur, but to Goku, this lack of openings is the most daunting defense he has ever encountered. "You've got a weird vibe," Goku calls out, a confident smirk tugging at his lips. He clenches his fists, and a golden aura erupts around him. The transformation to Super Saiyan is instantaneous, a roar of energy that sends a shockwave across the obsidian flats. "I've fought guys who could destroy galaxies, but I can't tell where your ceiling is. Mind if I test it out?" Saitama blinks, a finger moving to scratch his cheek. "Ceiling? I guess. But I was kind of hoping for a sale at the market later, so let's not take too long, okay?" Without another word, Goku vanishes. He reappears a mere inch from Saitama's face, his fist a blur of golden light. Boom! The impact of the air pressure alone carves a mile-long trench in the ground behind Saitama, but the bald hero doesn't move. He simply tilts his head back slightly, the punch whistling past his ear. Goku doesn't stop. He transitions into a spinning roundhouse kick, his leg glowing with the friction of breaking the sound barrier dozens of times over. Saitama raises a single palm, catching the shin with a dull thud that sounds like a mountain hitting a tectonic plate. The ground beneath Saitama's boots shatters into a web of deep fissures, but his body remains as immovable as a pillar of the universe. Not bad. Goku mutters, his excitement peaking. He jumps back, hovering in the air as his aura shifts from gold to a blinding, divine cerulean. The heat becomes unbearable as he enters Super Saiyan Blue. The sheer pressure of his God Kai turns the air into plasma. He launches a rapid-fire barrage of Kai blasts, thousands of blue orbs raining down like a meteor shower. Saitama begins to move. He isn't flying, he is simply walking through the explosions. Each key blast that strikes his chest dissipates into harmless sparks against his suit. He swats a few away like bothersome mosquitoes, his movements so casual they border on insulting. "Is this the test?" Saitama asks, his voice perfectly clear despite the thunderous detonation surrounding him. "It's a bit flashy, don't you think?" Goku's grin widens. He realizes that even the power of a Super Saiyan Blue won't crack this shell through brute force alone. He needs to combine speed, divinity, and his mastery of space. Goku closes his eyes for a microsecond, focusing on the minute vibration of Saitama's physical presence. "Shunkan I do." In a flicker of instant transmission, Goku teleports not just near Saitama, but into his personal blind spot at an angle that defies traditional physics. He pours every ounce of his blue energy into his right fist, concentrating the Kai into a point no larger than a needle. This is the God Shock technique, a strike designed to bypass external durability and shatter the internal flow of energy. Goku's fist connects squarely with Saitama's jaw. The sound is not an explosion, but a sharp, crystalline crack that echoes through the void. Saitama's head snaps back. His feet, for the first time, leave the ground as he is skidded backward across the obsidian plane, his heels digging two deep furrows into the indestructible rock. Saitama stops himself after 50 yards. He raises a hand to his jaw, rubbing the spot where Goku hit him. For the first time, the boredom in his eyes flickers. A small, almost imperceptible spark of interest. A shadow of a thrill crosses his face. "Oh?" Saitama says, his voice dropping an octave, becoming serious. That actually felt like a punch. Goku lands, his blue aura flickering like a wild flame, his breathing slightly elevated. He realizes the test is over. The real fight is about to begin. He has found the man who cannot be broken, and now he must find a way to surpass the absolute. The silence following Goku's God Shock punch doesn't last long. It is a heavy, pressurized quiet, the kind that precedes a supernova. Saitama lowers his hand from his jaw, and for the first time, his posture shifts. His shoulders square, his center of gravity drops, and the bored slouch vanishes, replaced by a terrifyingly efficient mechanical stillness. He isn't powering up in the traditional sense. There is no screaming, no exploding aura, no change in hair color. Instead, the air itself seems to recoil from him as his physical presence becomes denser, more absolute. "My turn," Saitama says. The word has barely left his lips when the world explodes. Saitama doesn't fly. He kicks off the ground with such astronomical force that the obsidian tectonic plate beneath him instantly vaporizes into fine black powder. In a nanosecond, he isn't just in front of Goku, he is everywhere. Saitama begins his afterimage movement, but calling them afterimages is an insult to the physics occurring. He is moving so fast that he occupies multiple points in space simultaneously. 1,000 Saitamas surround Goku, a golden red blur of red gloves and yellow fabric. The air begins to scream as the friction of his movement ignites the atmosphere, turning the battlefield into a literal sun. Goku's Super Saiyan blue reflexes, sharp as they are, find themselves hopelessly outclassed. He sees a punch coming from the left, but before he can even twitch, a shockwave from the right nearly snaps his ribs. He fires a 360-degree burst of Kai to clear the area, but Saitama simply skips through the explosion, his movements jagged and unpredictable, ignoring the laws of inertia. "I can't keep up," Goku realizes, his heart hammering against his chest like a trapped bird. His speed isn't magical, it isn't Kai, it's just pure, unfiltered muscle. "I'm trying to fight a force of nature with a martial art." A normal punch grazes Goku's shoulder, and the mere wind pressure tears away his sleeve and draws blood. Goku knows he is one clean hit away from the end of the fight. He closes his eyes. He lets go. He stops trying to see Saitama. He stops trying to predict the trajectory. He reaches deep into the core of his being, past the rage of the Saiyan, past the discipline of the martial artist, into the realm of the gods. The blue aura of his god form begins to flake away like burning embers, revealing a shimmering, translucent heat underneath. A terrifyingly calm, silver blue light erupts from Goku's pores. The heat is so intense that the obsidian ground beneath his feet doesn't just melt, it transcends the liquid state and turns into white-hot gas. Ultra Instinct, sign, omen, has awakened. Goku's hair remains black, but it stands slightly on end, rimmed with a silver glow. His eyes turn into polished mercury, cold and unreadable. As a dozen Saitamas converge on him from every angle, Goku moves. It is a dance of impossible grace. A serious side hop from Saitama sends a shockwave that should have flattened Goku, but the Saiyan tilts his head by a fraction of a millimeter, the air pressure whistling past his ear harmlessly. A barrage of normal punches follows, a storm of fists that could crack a planet, but Goku weaves through them like a ghost. His body moves without the delay of thought, his nerves react to the intent of the wind itself. The battlefield is now a hellscape. The intense heat from Goku's UI aura and the friction from Saitama's movement have turned the entire crater into a churning cauldron of magma. The sky above them has turned a deep, bruised crimson as the atmosphere ionizes. Saitama's eyes widen. He throws a punch, then another, increasing his speed with every strike. He's never had to swing this many times. He feels his muscles burning, his lungs drawing in the superheated air, and for the first time in years, he feels his pulse thumping in his ears. It's a rhythmic driving beat. Thump, 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 thump. "You're fast," Saitama grunts, a wild, jagged grin spreading across his face. The look of a man who has finally found a puzzle he can't solve in one move. "Really fast." Goku doesn't answer. He can't. In the sign form, his focus is entirely on the heat of the battle. He slides under a massive horizontal swing from Saitama, and as he rises, he delivers a lightning-fast counterpunch to Saitama's solar plexus. The strike is infused with the silver light of UI, and the impact sends a shockwave through Saitama's body that ripples his cape and forces a sharp gasp of air from his lungs. The two titans stand in the center of a melting world. Around them, mountains of obsidian are collapsing into the magma sea. The sign of victory is flickering in Goku's eyes, but he knows the form is unstable. He needs to end this before his body breaks under the divine strain, while Saitama is only just starting to enjoy himself. The planet beneath them is no longer a world, it is a dying ember. The obsidian crust has completely surrendered to a churning, white-hot sea of magma. The sky, once purple, is now a chaotic vortex of ionized gases and lightning, as the friction of their movements has stripped away the atmosphere itself. In the center of this cataclysm, Goku and Saitama remain locked in a kinetic ballet that defies every law of entropy. Goku, in his Ultra Instinct Sign, is a silver blur of perfect efficiency. Every movement is a masterpiece of economy. No muscle is wasted, no breath is misplaced. He isn't just fighting Saitama, he is fighting the very concept of the end. But even as his body dodges with divine precision, Goku can feel the heat of the form beginning to char his internal circuits. His stamina is a leaking bucket, and the man across from him is an ocean that refuses to drain. Saitama is no longer the bored hero of City Z. His eyes have sharpened into predatory slits, and a jagged primal grin is etched onto his face. For the first time in his life, his body is demanding more. His blood is screaming. The thrill he thought he had lost forever, the adrenaline of a life or death struggle, is surging through him like high voltage electricity. "I didn't think it could be like this," Saitama shouts, his voice booming over the roar of the collapsing world. He pulls back a fist, and the air pressure alone creates a vacuum that pulls the magma upward into a massive swirling tower. Serious punch! Saitama throws the strike. He isn't aiming for Goku's face, he is aiming for the space Goku occupies. The sheer kinetic energy released is so vast that it doesn't just create a shockwave, it creates a hole in the atmosphere. The clouds are erased. The magma is flattened into a glass-like sheet for hundreds of miles. Goku, governed by the instinct, doesn't try to block it. He allows the air pressure to push him sideways, grazing the edge of the vacuum, his silver aura flickering violently as it shields his skin from being flayed by the friction. The force of the punch is so great that it pushes the entire planet out of its orbit. The gravitational tether to the nearby moon snaps, and the celestial body begins to drift, caught in the wake of their combat. Then something even more absurd happens. Saitama's body, pushed to a level of excitement it has never known, reacts in a way that defies all logic. He feels a tickle in his nose, a result of the dust of a vaporized world and the sheer intensity of the fight. He tilts his head back. Serious sneeze. The expulsion of air from Saitama's lungs is a localized supernova. A cone of pure, destructive force erupts from him, traveling at the speed of light. It hits the drifting moon behind Goku. In an instant, the moon doesn't just shatter, it is deatomized. Half of the celestial body is simply gone, turned into a fine glittering mist of stardust that illuminates the dark void. Goku watches the moon vanish from the corner of his eye, and a cold sweat breaks through his silver aura. He's not even using energy attacks, Goku realizes with a jolt of terror and awe. He's just breathing. He's just moving. The vacuum of space begins to leak into the battlefield as the atmosphere is blown away. Goku's lungs burn, and his vision starts to blur. The sign form is failing. He can feel the great heat of Ultra Instinct threatening to consume his heart. If he falls back into his base form now, the vacuum will kill him, or Saitama's next normal punch will turn him into red mist. "I have to go higher," Goku rasps, his voice a whisper in the dying air. He stops dodging. He stands still in the center of the magma sea, his arms hanging at his sides. He allows the UI aura to implode, drawing all that silver heat back into his chest, compressing it until it reaches the density of a star. The world goes silent, the magma stops churning, even Saitama pauses, sensing a shift in the very fabric of reality. A pillar of light, purer and brighter than anything in the multiverse, erupts from Goku's position, piercing through the clouds and out into the depths of space. The silver glow deepens, turning into a solid metallic chrome. His hair turns white silver, shimmering with the brilliance of 1,000 galaxies. Completed Ultra Instinct has arrived. Step. Goku isn't just fast. He is already Step. Goku isn't just fast. He is already there. He appears inches from Saitama's chest, and before the bald hero can even blink, Goku delivers a punch infused with the raw authority of the universe. The impact doesn't just shake the planet, it sends a ripple through the world of void that can be felt in other dimensions. The cosmic scale has been reached. They are no longer two men fighting on a planet. They are two singularities colliding in the dark. The planet is gone. There is no ground, no sky, and no air, only a silent, starless expanse of the world of void. Chunks of obsidian rock, cooled into jagged, frozen debris, drift aimlessly in the vacuum. In the center of this nothingness, two silhouettes remain, one a shimmering beacon of silver-white divinity, the other a solid, unyielding yellow figure that seems to anchor the very vacuum around him. Goku, in his completed Ultra Instinct form, is no longer a man. He is a celestial event. His silver hair glows with a soft metallic light, and his aura isn't just energy, it's a ripple in the fabric of the universe itself. Around him, the heat of his spirit has manifested into a faint spectral roar. Every breath he takes sends a vibration through the void that could be felt across dimensions. Saitama, floating in the weightlessness, looks at his own hands. They are vibrating, not from fear, but from a biological resonance he has never experienced. His heart, usually a steady, boring thud, is now a war drum. His limiter, that conceptual barrier he shattered long ago, is no longer just a memory. It is being actively tested by the sheer existence of the Saiyan before him. Saitama's eyes are wide, the pupils constricted. He looks alive. Without a word, the distance between them vanishes. Goku doesn't travel through space. He simply is where he needs to be. He strikes with a palm thrust that carries the weight of a galaxy. Saitama counters with a serious punch, but the moment their shockwaves would have collided, Goku's body flows like water, slipping around the fist with a grace that defies the very concept of momentum. He delivers a flurry of strikes to Saitama's torso, not just physical hits, but concentrated bursts of God Ki that explode inside Saitama's kinetic field. Saitama grunts, the impact sending him spiraling through the void, but he quickly rights himself by kicking the vacuum itself. He accelerates, his speed reaching a point where time begins to dilate. Serious series, omnidirectional serious punches. Suddenly the void is no longer empty. It is filled with thousands of Saitamas, a cage of gold and red closing in on the silver god. Each punch is a world-ending event. Any other being would have been erased in a nanosecond, but Goku's Ultra Instinct is at its absolute apex. His body moves in a blur of silver light, dodging every single strike by a hair's breadth. To an outside observer, it looks like a silver ribbon weaving through a storm of meteors. But then, the logic of the fight begins to break. The sheer output of energy from Goku's UI and the infinite physical force of Saitama's punches begin to create a glitched reality. As their fists clash and pass, the dark background of the void starts to crack like a mirror. Through the fissures, flashes of other worlds appear, brief glimpses of Namek, the Hero Association headquarters, and even timelines that shouldn't exist. The sound of their battle returns, not as noise, but as a psychic scream that vibrates in the marrow of their bones. Saitama realized that omission and evasion are Goku's greatest weapons. To counter a god who moves without thinking, Saitama decides to move without a target. He pulls back both fists, his face becoming a mask of pure, concentrated intensity. He isn't aiming for Goku anymore. He is aiming for the concept of the void. Serious squaring. Saitama strikes the space in front of him with both hands. The impact creates a gravitational singularity, a literal black hole born from pure physical strength. The rift in reality widens, and the vacuum begins to howl as dimensions bleed into one another. The silver dragon aura of Goku's UI flares up, struggling to maintain its form against the collapsing space. Goku knows he cannot dodge a collapse of the universe. He closes his eyes and focuses every drop of his remaining life force into his right fist. The silver aura condenses, turning into a solid crystalline blade of energy. Behind him, the spectral image of a great ape merges with the silver dragon, representing the total union of his primal roots and his divine transcendence. Saitama! Goku bellows, his voice echoing across the dimensions. This is it, everything I have. Saitama's grin is wide, almost manic. Give it to me, Goku! They fly toward each other, two streaks of light, one silver, one gold, colliding at the epicenter of the reality rift. When their fists meet, there is no explosion. There is only a blinding white flash that swallows the entire world of void. The laws of Senen and Gag clash in a final paradoxical embrace, threatening to reset the very clock of existence. The blinding white light does not explode, it retracts. It pulls inward like a dying star, dragging the shattered fragments of reality back into a singular point of absolute silence. For a long, breathless moment, there is nothing. No sound, no light, no time. Then, with a soft, crystalline ring, the void settles. Goku and Saitama are drifting in the center of a scarred cosmos. The world of void has been hollowed out even further, leaving a pocket of space so empty that even the concept of distance feels meaningless. Goku is the first to move. The silver brilliance of completed Ultra Instinct has shattered like a mirror. His hair has returned to its natural, messy jet black, and his orange gyai is little more than scorched rags hanging from his waist. His skin is wreathed in a faint purple steam, the great heat of the divine form evaporating from his exhausted pores. Every muscle in his body is screaming, a symphony of agony that he greets with a pained, shaky breath. He can barely lift his arms, but his eyes, now back to their usual cheerful onyx, are fixed on the figure across from him. Saitama is floating upright, his boots gone, and his iconic red cape reduced to a few charred threads clinging to his shoulders. His yellow suit is shredded, revealing a physique that doesn't look like that of a god, yet held a power that nearly erased the universe. For the first time in the history of his existence, Saitama is bleeding. A single thin trail of crimson trickles from a small cut on his cheek, and his knuckles are bruised purple. But it is his face that is most transformed. The blank look is gone. His eyes are wide, shimmering with a quintessence of pure, unadulterated joy. He is breathing hard, gasping even, feeling the delicious, burning ache of lungs that have finally been pushed to their absolute capacity. Saitama starts, his voice hoarse, echoing in the psychic silence of the void. He touches the blood on his cheek and looks at it with the wonder of a child seeing snow for the first time. You actually did it. You found it. Goku lets out a weak, raspy chuckle, his body drifting aimlessly in the zero gravity. Found what? The end, Saitama whispers. The place where I don't know if I'm going to win. I forgot what this felt like. The fear, the heat. The way my heart is trying to jump out of my chest. Thank you, Goku, truly. Goku closes his eyes, a serene smile spreading across his face. I should be thanking you. I've reached heights I didn't even know existed just to keep up with you. You don't have a form or a technique. You're just the wall everyone tries to climb. I think I finally touched the top of it today. The two warriors drift closer, the momentum of the vacuum bringing them together. There is no more killing intent, no more competitive fire, only the profound, quiet respect of two beings who have looked into the abyss of absolute power and seen each other standing on the other side. So, Saitama says, regaining his casual tone as the adrenaline begins to fade, replaced by a massive looming hunger. Since the planet we were on is kind of gone, and I definitely missed that Saturday sale. You mentioned something about your wife's cooking earlier. Goku laughs, though it turns into a wince as his ribs protest. Yeah, Chi-Chi is going to kill me for destroying another guy, but she'll feed you. I think we've both earned a feast that could restart a solar system. High above them, or perhaps from outside the void, a faint shimmer appeared. A staff taps against the nothingness, and the elegant silhouette of Whis manifests, looking down at the two troublemakers with a mixture of exasperation and amusement. Honestly, Whis sighs, his voice a melodic chime. I leave you two alone for 10 minutes, and you've already unraveled 3 laws of thermodynamics. Come along, Lord Beerus is waiting, and he's quite annoyed that the shockwaves from your little sparring match knocked over his favorite dessert. As Whis' light envelops them to transport them back to the living world, Goku looks one last time at Saitama. He knows that if they fought again tomorrow, the result might be different, or it might be the same, but it doesn't matter. They have reached the limit of the infinite. The screen fades to black as the two heroes disappear into the light, leaving the world of void to heal its wounds. The final echo of their battle isn't a scream or an explosion, but the sound of two friends arguing over whether ramen or meat is the superior post-fight meal. The end.